coming to you from the Merry Moose Quilt Shoppe in Garrison, North Dakota, and you've already met or seen my friend Marty that helps me out with everything I do. Today we're going to be talking about how to figure out how much backing do I need for my quilt. And I'm going to do two different sizes so you sort of get an idea of what you need to do. The first one we're going to do is a 60 by 70 inch quilt. And most long armors like you to have extra fabric around when you bring your backing in to be quilted with the quilt. And so for this one, we're going to need 70 inches by 80 inches. Most fabrics are 44 to 45 inches wide, which if you double that, you will see 88 inches. I don't figure we have that much usable. Sometimes the fabric is only 43 inches wide. Sometimes it's 45, and then you got selvages. So I always figure we've got 80 inches. If we double it, sewing them horizontally, we will only have 80 inches. So that's the perfect size for this 60 by 70 inch quilt. What we now need to do is figure out how much do I need widthwise. We've got our vertical because, well, it's a 70 inch quilt, and we're gonna have two 40 inch pieces sewn together with a horizontal seam. So to get 70 inches, technically that's like 1.9 yards. We're gonna go with 1 7/8 yards. Only because we've already got a little extra anyway, so we might as well do 1 7/8. So you're gonna need two pieces that are 1.875 inches, 1.875 yards wide. So figure 1 7/8. If you really don't wanna do that, go to 2 yards. Better to go to 2 yards than to cut it down. So you will need a total of, for a 60 by 70 inch quilt, of 3.75 yards. So that's sort of the easy way to really figure it. Keep in mind, this is not directional fabric. If you have directional fabric, then you need to sew a vertical seam, and you're gonna need at least 80 inches long both ways. That's another discussion for another day. So let's do a little bit bigger one and see how much we will need for that. The next one I'm gonna do is an 80 by 90 inch quilt. You're gonna need 90 inches by 100 inches. So now we're looking at, okay, we've only got 80 inches if we do 2 strips. We now need 3 strips. So you're gonna have a lot of extra, but keep in mind, it's better to have more than not enough. So you're gonna sew 3 strips together, and you're gonna end up with about 120 inches. So you will have extra. Keep in mind, use that for your binding or something if you'd like, when you need to buy that much extra. We're also gonna need the 3 strips to be 90 inches long, which is 2 1/4 yards. So you're gonna need 3 cuts at 2 1/4 yards, giving you 6 3/4 yards that you're gonna need to make an 80 by 90 inch quilt, the backing for it. If this is directional, there again, then all bets are off. You have to figure the length, the 90 inches. So you're gonna need 100 inches. And this one you maybe could do it twice, the 100 inches. And I'm gonna use my calculator quick here. 100 inches divided by 36 is 2 3/4 yards. So you would need 2 3/4 yards twice if you're going to do a vertical seam. And the reason to do a vertical seam would be if you have a directional print for your backing. If you don't have a directional print for your backing, you can save a lot of money by just using the width of the quilt, adding 10 inches on, figuring that, dividing that by 36, and you'll need that cut a couple times. So that's how you figure your backing size. We're going to do a really quick, just because it's what we do, how do I figure my binding? And that's sort of done the same way. For a 60 by 70 inch quilt, we are going to need 260 inches. And you figure that by adding 60 and 60, your top and bottom, 70 by 70, your sides. And you're going to divide that by 42, only because we're using 42 as sort of your usable. So if you divide 260 by 42, you will need 6.19 strips. Guess what? You can't cut 0.19 strips. So we're gonna cut 7 strips. And I like to use 2 1/2 inches. Use whatever you like. If you like 2 1/4, if you like 2 3/4, multiply that by 7, and that will tell you how many strips you need. Keep in mind, this is sort of a bare minimum. I a lot of times will add 1 extra strip just because I like to have extra when I'm joining them together at the end. So if we're gonna do a little bit bigger quilt, and we're gonna do a 70 inch by 80 inch quilt, we need 300 inches for the binding, and 300 divided by your 42 inches, because that's as wide as your fabric is. And so this is telling you how many strips you're gonna need. You're gonna need 7.14 strips for that. So of course you can't cut 0.14 strips. You're gonna have to cut 8 strips, and 8 times 2 1/2 inches, because that's what I like to use for binding, is 20 inches. So that's how much you would need minimum for your binding. Keep in mind, if you're diagonally piecing your bindings, you may need a little bit extra because it takes extra fabric when you do the diagonal piece as opposed to a straight up and down seam. So that's how you sort of figure. Keep in mind your fabric 40 to 42 inches, and that's a key number of dividing things by. And that will help you figure out your backing, and it will help you figure out your binding, so you're not always wondering, how much binding do I need? How much backing do I need? You can figure it out yourself now. Thanks a lot.